So this is happening right now on X, Niger X. As long as it is happening in Nigeria's X, you would find it here. So you don't have to go to X to get all the news, but you can get it here for all of the analysis, the reactions, and the craze. Damn it. So check this out. There's nothing as crazy as this. South African followers disperse after unfulfilled rapture prophecy near Johannesburg. Hundreds of believers gathered on a forested hillside near Johannesburg on September 23rd, 2025, following Pastor Joshua Lakela's prediction of the rapture on September 23rd or 24th. Inspired by his viral YouTube interview and TikTok videos, the group prayed through the night but dispersed quietly by dawn on September 24th without any event occurring. Social media responses ranged from mockery and theological critics to concerns over religious leaders amid Africa's economic challenges. Damn it. I was watching this and it was just crazy. A video has been posted and is trending right now on X. I don't know if you could hear the sound from where you are. This is like a sound of people praying, screaming, shouting, on the 23rd, 24th. And there's even a guy who was wearing a backpack. Yeah, it's a guy who was wearing a backpack. And some people are saying, like, are you kidding me right now? Are you wearing backpack to go to heaven? But it's just so crazy, man. I don't know. Maybe I should just show you a little bit of it so you can watch it. Let me go straight to where the guy who's wearing backpack is shown. There you go. That's a guy there wearing backpack. I hope you can see that. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the reactions have gone berserk. Damn it. Ooh. Reactions are stunningly unbelievable. So let's go straight to the reactions. I can only imagine that you and I know what's going to be like. It's going to be a meltdown. So get ready. Here's what this one says. Christianity left Israel as a family, went to England as a religion, and ended up in Africa as a business to brainwash so many people. Chris Fola says, I'm just here wondering what their pastor will tell them. Will he say the Lord postponed it? Will he say the Lord postponed his coming or what? Valid point, valid concern, really. Richard, he says, person will say he go come like thief in the night. When I change the script, go they wait for him. Who do us like this for this Africa? And I'm telling you, my brother, this is quite interesting. I'm telling you. This one says, hope they are still there or they have gone. No, they've gone home. Even Jesus said he does not know when it will be, but their pastor keep deceiving them. How they have the Bible in their hands but don't read or understand it baffles me. In this kind of congregation, anyone who is lost will never come back because they will look back and call themselves unprintable names for subjecting themselves to such humiliation and deceit. Further investigation will reveal that offering was collected on that ground. You can imagine the amount. The people there are much. I mean, they're in their thousands, not even hundreds. Otun says, I did first bank, they drag 10K debits. When I want to leave me. Okay, Genius Haola says, how did they now feel when rapture no later come? And who give them location safe? Good point, my friend, good point. Most of them don't sell their properties at discounted prices. I want to ring D. Good. So someone screenshotted the guy who was on backpack and said something like, "Na vacation or rapture, this one they wait for." Lulu Crypt says, on today's episode of Things You Can Find Only in Africa. We gone. Okay, so Token Trekker says, "He who sits in heaven laughs. He who sits in heaven laughs at Nigerians." Now, we've seen that verse supposed to be. Okay, and by the way, this happened in South Africa, not in Nigeria. I have seen fooling, but this one is pro max fooling. Just Kings tweeted. Mercy says, "How many times will people fall for this? Every year, some prophet picks a date for Christ's return, and every year the world keeps moving. Faith without wisdom turns to foolishness. African is truth, not theatrics." Mr. Giddy says, "Funny thing is, after this, they will go back home and wait for another day and plan for their life." All right. Another person says, "Wonder what happens when the sky doesn't open. Do they reschedule or just adjust the prophecy?" A good point and a good question for the pastor to respond to. Your Solace says, "Person will go come as Steve at night. Na him una they wait for morning." Mama says, "How will they go? How will they go home after not getting raptured?" I don't know. I don't know. Big Wee says, "Then carry breakfast in case food never ready. Food no dey heaven care." Imagine after all this, they go home to realize that everybody else have been raptured. Crazy scene, right? I can imagine. It can only be black man country who do us like this. Make I dress like this. They wait for to enter heaven care. Waiting do white jalabia. They must have seen Shaggy in this world. I mean, they don't even have to wait for rapture if they are so eager to see God right. Adefa says, okay. So South Africa is supposed to be one of the most developed countries in Africa. In fact, if you are looking at the trajectory of African countries, they say that if there's any country that's got any chance of being called a developed country in another 5 to 10 years, it will be South Africa. And one would have thought that because of that, you would have, I mean, one of the things that people look out for when it comes to development is the level of education. And then you could say that the South African population have a level of education that is good, that is fabulous, at least better than Africa. But I really don't understand this. I don't know whether Africans generally, pause their brain when it comes to religion. I really don't know that. I don't know. Most of the time when there are people who take decisions regarding religion, it seems as if something is not right with this person. I've heard people say things like they cannot take blood, like blood transfusion in their own religion, in their practice is wrong, that they're not going to take blood. I've heard somebody die in the hospital because their so-called doctrine says that they can't take blood from another person. I'm a Christian, but that certain things, certain doctrines that I really practically don't understand. And it's not necessarily that God is the one that sanctions it, or there's some deity somewhere that says if you don't do it this way, it's going to be that way. It's just human beings who tweak the word of God and make it suit their thinking. They make it suit their brain. Like, I don't get it. Like, you have lost blood owing to some accident, owing to pregnancy, delivery, and then they're telling you have to, take blood to be fine, to be okay, which is scientifically proven. And then you turn around and say, no, that your pastor said, your doctrine said, because of course it has to be pastor, because pastors are the one that changes the doctrine. The doctrine says, oh, we shouldn't take blood because of I don't know, the reason they give is unbelievable. So you rather lose your life than to take blood to be safe. it is crazy. I don't know. Some things are commonsensical, but sometimes when Africans, you know, try to apply religion to their lives, to their personal living, it seems as if they pause their brains and then begin to move like zombies, into the scene of the unknown. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Should we start regulating religion? I don't know, man. Like, do you think we could do that? Regulate religion? Yeah, just regulate religion. Make everybody, before you be a man of God, there should be some sort of school you go to, you get a certificate, and then everybody also checks out what you do. I mean, it will be like a profession, just like you go to school, right? You go to school to become a doctor, you go to school to become a nurse, go to school to become a journalist, you go to school. And I mean, you should pass through a certain level of theology or teaching, and you know how these things are. It's so complicated because there are so many doctrines within the Christianity that a Seventh-day Adventist person doesn't agree with a Pentecostal. A Pentecostal person doesn't agree with a Catholic. A Catholic person doesn't agree with a Presbyterian. And every now and then we keep hearing these crazy things happening outside, and you think to yourself, like, is this really Christianity, or are we just practicing something not Christ-like? God, I don't know, man. Tell me what you think. To see South Africans in that number go for some sort of rapturing, believing this man, I can imagine what else. I mean, right now I think it's. I hope the number of people, a number of persons, because for you to have been able to go to that location, somebody tells you this is the location that God is going to rapture you guys. I can imagine how many other things the pastor must have told them that they believe so much and they cannot let go. I can only imagine, so to think that South Africa is one of the countries with the most intelligent people, you shouldn't be seeing this kind of things, frankly. What else have they told them? What else have they told them that is false, and then they're running with it? And like someone said, what would he tell them now? That God did not, God postponed it, or what exactly? I mean, I think there's a clarion call. For those who have seen this, maybe you must have been moved by whatever thing he says or he told you. But then again, I can imagine what the reality check would be right after now. If this is wrong, then there'll be many other things that he must have told them that is quite wrong. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Cheers.